Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, I'm Aaron,
And I'm Cole.
and we're two chill dudes.
And this week, Kung Fu Dunk. So this is essentially the story of a Kung Fu prodigy who meets a bum in the park, and he wants to make money off him. So the bum becomes this kid's agent in a university varsity level basketball league. As crazy as that sounds. So what are your initial thoughts right off the bat?
Initial thoughts, I really enjoyed the movie. It's a little crazy, but it's a fun kind of crazy. It's it's just a very fun movie. Now, I won't beat around the bush. This is a really stupid story when all things considered.
Yeah.
It's basically just a whole giant excuse just to get more kung fu
For action set pieces.
Yeah, for
it's
action
an
set
excuse
pieces.
for action set pieces.
I think the biggest gimmick here is that the basketball is just meant for having basketball-themed kung fu, not for actual... There's no actual rules going on here.
Yeah.
It's,
Nor really, like, most of the playing is all stunt shots and a number of effects.
Yeah, no, it's a ton of special effects. Just basically, all the special skill shots or whatever, it's all fake. It's all... Well, I mean, sports movies, yeah, but I mean, normally the whole point of a sports movie is to enjoy the skill shot.
The sports.
Yeah, the sports.
Whereas this isn't focusing on the sport. It's not as bad as, say, rollerball, as in not focusing on the sport.
Yeah. But it's
nowhere like the kung fu is the focus here.
Mm-hmm. The basketball thing's just a gimmick for it.
Those action set pieces were very nice, though.
Mm. Yeah, it's the special effects themselves are actually kind of I would almost say too good for the premise of the story. It's more just
Yeah, I can see that. First off, there's a lot of good practical effects in the fighting. Lots of great glass stunt work.
Oh,
in one of the fights.
The amount of glass that they break in this movie is ridiculous.
Yeah. And second, the CG is very noticeable, but I feel it's done in a way that
it's fully aware of why you're watching this movie.
Yeah, and it doesn't
So
it doesn't do it in a way that interferes with with the action. First off, we have the main character,
the Kung Fu Kid.
Yeah. Who at the start is kind of a little creepy. He's like, I've had 3 girls that would die for me. And it turns out, like, it's because he's, like, stalking them, and, yeah, it's kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm.
He has this weird thing. He has his little quirk is, after every little thing he'll
clap a little bit.
Yeah.
Which, just a little personality quirk or something.
He does come off as a nice guy. Because whenever the opponent is doing well, he claps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a good sportsman.
Yeah, he's always like, you know, when one of the other guys totally shows him up, he kind of like, oh, that was pretty. I'm impressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, that's pretty.
I'm gonna beat you, but I'm impressed.
Yeah, he actually has an amazing fight scene in this nightclub. Just taking on this... I'm not even sure... They're just security? I'm not even sure who the bad guys are, now that I think about it.
It all boils down to this one kind of not quite mafia guy gangsterish.
That's the thing, is like...
But I'm not sure what his fascination with varsity basketball is, because he's running this nightclub, he's, doing, $500 bets on,
Or $500 million. Oh, that's right, wasn't it?
No, on the darts.
Oh, on darts. Or no,
Yeah.
okay. No, that was the goon that he was betting like $200 per
right,
darts
yeah.
game.
Sorry, never mind.
Yes, that was a different deal. Oh, that was another character that I want to talk about. Is the son of the bad guy, who initially comes off as the main bad guy, but then halfway through he becomes the good guy.
Oh, was that the son?
That's the son, yeah, because that was
Okay.
his nightclub that they went and destroyed.
Because I didn't
And then-
catch on to that.
And then
But I
halfway
did catch
through-
on to he was,
Yeah,
like...
and then he was there when they call the manager guy the bum from the park.
Yeah,
When they call him up to the room, he was there when they beat him up. And then halfway through, he becomes a good guy. He's the one that
He's not so much of a good guy, he's still a bad guy.
He's still a bad guy, but it's like
But
he's now on their side.
more he's just no longer on the bad guy's side. He's more of just a less bad guy that's betting on the good guys. Let's talk about the bum.
The bum turned aged.
Yeah, this agent has such an annoying voice.
Yeah.
It's this really quick, really fast,
He's a
almost, yeah.
like he's a fast talking used car salesman kind of guy, where he's just constantly talking. He's constantly pestering you, trying to get you to see it his way, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it works, surprisingly.
Yeah, it works. He's annoying. It works. He has lots of energy.
Mm-hmm. And lots of cartoony faces.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that one... yeah, he's got that one piece. And the other one that you could do really well with the...
Oh, right! Oh, no, wait.
So, like,
Put it... We're gonna put it up right here. Just compare. But no, overall I liked him. I liked how... I really loved his relationship with the main character, in that they have these loving scenes of brotherhood.
It's a bromance between an athlete and his agent. Literally, they have this tender moment, air quotes, tender moment. You can tell it's supposed to be one because of the music that they've got going on in the background. But his line of dialogue is, "Oh, I would never sell you out. You're my cash cow." And apparently the Kung Fu Kid is totally fine with it.
And they keep referring him
They keep referring to him as the cash cow.
not just the businessman, but the other, like, the kid starts referring to himself as the cash cow.
And it's a weird relationship. And that's sort of the main focus, the main relationship in this film. They have
More,
this they have this bit romance between him and I guess another obsession, the basketball coach.
the captain's sister,
Mm-hmm.
who is also in love with the other star player of the team, but because his girlfriend died inexplicably out of nowhere, it just, all of a sudden, he's crying at her grave. Just like, literally.
And then the next scene, he's turning her down and be like, I can't love you.
It's
The
not
pain
you,
is-
it's me. I can't love another woman again.
The pain is too much.
And that wraps up that, and it's like...
That wraps up his part of the story, I guess.
Yeah, and then she starts... not immediately, but pretty quickly falls for the main character.
Kind of. I mean, they have bits with each other where, again, the guy's being a creepy
They do
pervert.
have bits. They do have bits. But then there is like a quick montage of earlier scenes, and they've like
scenes together.
They do that thing where they turn it black and white except for the two characters or like the objects that they're interacting with or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has that like moment of realization. She's like, I could go for him. And then at the very end, that like getting back to the relationship between the main character and his agent, they get the big like return at the end, and I couldn't leave you behind,
because they had that cliche,
and then
they had that cliche breakup misunderstanding. Is like, because it turns out he's the son of the richest man in China, and so the agent assumes that the guy's just going to leave him.
We did forget to mention this whole time, he is an orphan.
Oh, yeah, that's a fair point.
But yeah, so they find out that he's the son of the richest man in Asia,
who
wants to fly him off to Britain to
prepare him to being the heir of his business empire.
So they have this big, wonderful scene, and the romantic romance gets a footnote. It's literally like a still shot, and
it's in the outro. That's right.
Yeah,
it's like a credit scene.
Oh, and by the way, she finally asked me when I was going to take her out to get some ice cream. That's it.
Oh, and probably the best part I think about the relationship between the Kung Fu Kid and the agent is that they have this sort of Lady and the Tramp scene where they're behind the restaurant getting leftovers from the chef.
Yeah, because the agent's daughter is the chef, and she just gets like they have multiple scenes where all their wines are like, oh, this is a 94 mixed with a 96 mixed with a 98. And it's just all like the leftover wines from the tables mixed together. And he's like, oh, I love this. It's so delicious. And I'm like, huh? What other characters do we have? We have...
Oh, there's the drunk captain. I guess who's sort of a drunken master kind of character.
Well, in kind of the opposite regard.
But I mean, the whole...
He drinks to protect himself, but in the end...
trauma that the
trauma of switching teams and then going, oh, by the way, I
banged your girlfriend.
Yeah.
There's like...
right during the penalty shot.
Yeah,
by the way, I banged your girlfriend. Oh, he loses the match, and that goes the tournament, and and now he can never play without drinking constantly.
And he's constantly drinking Absolute vodka. By the way,
yeah,
it's always that one brand of vodka.
I have to say, he always or frequently looks like he's about to throw up.
Yeah, no, kudos to the actor for looking drunk, although maybe he actually was drunk the entire time.
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh, I also want to talk about the opposing basketball team members and their introduction as sort of this army of Banes.
Yes.
That was probably one of the quintessential moments for me in this movie.
Either Banes or like something that you would see the Persians from 300 pull off.
One of their
something just awful costumes, like purposefully.
Mm-hmm.
But
and there's actually one other kind of major character because he does play into the ending of the movie, or the climax of the movie, and that's Kung Fu Kid's first master, who...
Oh, yeah.
He's at the very beginning of the movie, he's showing the Kung Fu Kid his ability to alter reality. Like, he's going to reverse time
using kung fu. He's teaching him the technique.
He's teaching him the technique, but he's just showing it, but he messes up.
Somehow. Unexplained. And instead of freezing time, he freezes himself and dies.
Yeah, like, just this amazing fight scene at the nightclub. That was
the highlight of the fighting.
Mm-hmm. And it's really early in the movie. After that, it sort of devolves into the whole basketball gimmick. Which, again, they do bring the kung fu back in when they bring in the Four Masters. They had a lot of fun with that. Where they sort of mess around with the team a little bit. Because, like, the creepy chick is using needles to... She's throwing needles in their armpits and then at the referee's throat whenever he wanted to try
he can't blow the whistle.
Yeah.
And the other ones are doing crazy things.
The other one's like blowing wind out of his hands.
Yeah, and the other one's teleporting, and it's one of those ones where the kung fu is magic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wizard did it, except a kung fu master did it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But other than those two fight scenes, I can't really think of any big set pieces for kung fu.
Yeah,
there was a few little tidbits in there, but
after that, they basically technically the kung fu was just all the fancy slam dunks. That they did for the basketball games.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, one of the first movies that comes to mind as a comparison would be Kung Fu Hustle at the top of the list.
Definitely.
Because we're talking about a kung fu film that's fully aware of how ridiculous it is. And basically, going into it, you should know that this movie is going to be ridiculous as well. If you're going in for the story, then you're going to be sadly...
It makes it apparent pretty quickly.
Yeah. But it does have...
But it has a very similar feeling.
Yeah, it has a lot of good slapstick, I think. Similar to Kung Fu Hustle, where they just have a lot of physical comedy going on. And this movie's very much the same way.
So, any final thoughts? Has your view shifted at all?
No, I mean, going into it, I was expecting this to be a stupid movie, and the fact that it was actually an enjoyable stupid movie, I think is probably the main thing here. It just don't go into this expecting a good story, because it pulls some bullshit.
Like a number of kung fu movies, this movie uses its story as simply an excuse for action set pieces. It doesn't go all out into kung fu as most would, but it keeps it nice in that realm. Does a really good job on a number of fronts. I can't really think of any big shortcomings other than the story, which it's a kung fu movie. Hello. So yeah, I think overall, awesome movie. All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, and the conversation they had right before, they're talking about, he's comparing her to ice cream, because he never got ice cream as a kid, so he would do whatever he could to get ice cream, and then he says, "You're like ice cream."
That was pretty cute.
I don't.
Maybe I'm just weird.
I don't think any girl would like to be compared to ice cream, but
hey, it's sweet, tasty,
and creamy, and
delicious. Oh, baby.